I'm absolutely shaking right now. My husband and I have known each other for 3 years and got married 6 months ago. He is perfect and everything I could have asked for. These past years, I thought I had been living the dream, but now everything has fallen apart. 2 hours into our road trip, my husband decided to take a stop at a gas station and get us some snacks. I stayed inside the car and was waiting for him until I noticed he got a notification from Instagram. This surprised me because he was always adamant about never wanting to get Instagram. I opened up his phone and decided to check what it was. Upon opening it, I found messages with a teenage girl. I only saw a couple of them, but they consisted of, "I love you," "I can't wait to see you again," and him sliding on her stories saying she looks beautiful. I clicked on her profile and it was obvious she was a teenager, somewhere around 14, 16. The fact he was keeping a secret from me didn't even register in my brain, and it was more so the fact that he was texting these things to someone underage. I did not have the chance to look further because he came back within 10 minutes. I don't know what to do. I am terrified, betrayed, and disgusted. I am stuck with him for 6 more hours and he is noticing I am acting weird. I don't want to confront him on the road, and I feel like these hours are driving me crazy. I need to vent and need some support or something. Comments. When you get the phone again, screenshot as much of it as you can and text it to yourself. Delete the screenshots, as well as the deleted images in the Photos app, and the text. Compile this and email Instagram support. Tell them everything you know about him, including make, model of phone, and where he would be logging in from geographically. They should be able to take it from there. They have teams internally that will make sure the authorities are involved. These actions are criminal. I'm sorry you're going through this. It is probably safer to make a plan to leave ASAP and don't confront him directly. Source: I used to work at a social network as a moderator, and we had a process that fast-tracked these kind of things to a team that worked with the authorities. At the very least, get his username and the girl's username. Instagram employees will have access to the rest. My suggestion to send from his phone was to explicitly create digital breadcrumbs. The image would be created on his device and sent via his accounts so that it would be inextricably linked to the phone. Thanks. Original poster replied, "Hello, thank you so much for this reply. The next time we make a stop, I will be sure to do this. I'm terrified it will turn into a hole." She said, "He said story, and I want the facts straight. I also want to make sure I know this girl's information to help her, so she doesn't get away from it. Edit. I want to thank everyone for the replies and support. I have been faking being sick just to get him off my back as to why I am not holding his hand or being affectionate with him. I know I should go along with it and pretend for my sake, but I physically can't bring myself to. I am going to try to take a nap as we have about 4 hours left. I am truly taking everyone's advice to heart, and thank you for everyone taking your time. I just need to rest my brain before I do something I regret. Thankfully, we are on a trip to see my parents, so after these hours, I will truly feel safe. 10 hours later, first, I want to thank everyone for the support and advice they gave. Like I said in my previous post, I just fell asleep during the car ride and told him I felt sick. We were heading to my parents' house, and I really wanted to be with them. However, within 45 minutes, my husband woke me up and told me he found a nearby hotel for us to stay in. He said he was worried about me and wanted me to rest in a real bed. He also bought medicine for me. At this point, I was freaking out because I was in an unfamiliar area, and he was being extra clingy. Once we got into the room and we laid down, he kept cuddling me and giving me kisses. It made me feel sick, so I left to go to the bathroom. I stayed in the bathroom for about an hour. I scrolled through everyone's comments and kept pacing myself about what to do. I knew my husband was growing concerned because he kept checking on me. After I left the bathroom, he looked so worried, and I just needed to let everything out. I know the number one advice given was not to confront him, and I know it probably was a horrible move, but I couldn't take it. I told him I found his messages on Instagram. He immediately started apologizing and saying he wanted to tell me sooner, but couldn't find the time. He was apologizing, but not as intensely as what he could have done. So I confronted him about that and said, "What a lousy apology coming from a pedophile." He immediately went silent. It was probably silent for about 6 minutes when he broke it and asked what I was referring to. I told him, and he looked so hurt. He took a deep breath and explained everything. He said the person I looked through his messages with was his 15-year-old daughter, Sarah. He explained that she reached out to him a year ago on Facebook, and ever since then, he has been trying to connect with her. He said within 6 months he confirmed he was the father, met up with her a bunch of times, and truly formed a strong connection with her. However, 6 months ago, we got married, and he didn't want to stress me out with that news, as well as his daughter not being ready to face others. He also explained that when he was 18, he had an on and off relationship with Sarah's mom, when one day she just up and ghosted him forever. According to Sarah, her mom is also strict, which is why the message on Instagram to avoid her mom finding out right now. My mind was spiraling, and I knew he knew that. He then placed his phone into my hand and let me scroll farther. Upon scrolling, I found her referring to him as dad, and she sent him a happy Father's Day a while back as well. He even said he would do another DNA test to prove it to me. I immediately felt guilty. I feel guilty that my mind immediately took innocent texts and turned them inappropriate, and I felt guilty that I saw my husband in that way. I kept apologizing to him about the accusation. However, my husband just apologized and said he understood my point of view and told me it wasn't my fault. I kept trying to tell him I was sorry, and he kept saying it was okay. I can see the look in his eyes, though, and I can see how hurt he really is. He said we should both just get some sleep and talk more later. To be honest, I can't fall asleep as I feel just disgusted with myself. About his whole secret daughter, it doesn't bother me so much, maybe because it's miles better than the alternative. But I understand the situation and am happy for my husband because he wants kids desperately, but we have decided to wait 2 years to grow our marriage. I feel as if right now I've flushed everything down the drain and have no clue how to make things better. Some comments. Somebody said, suddenly the room went quiet. There was a damp chill in like a cool October morning for 6 minutes before he spoke again softly. Seriously, how do people eat this crap up? Someone said this very storyline was on TikTok a few months back. This is suspicious and I'll be the one to say it. It sounds like you've made this up. In fact, I know you've made this up. Original poster replied, okay, I am actually dumbfounded. If this thing happened word for word to someone else, I would be shocked. I don't know how much left I have to prove this is real, but I would appreciate seeing this supposed TikTok that is exactly like mine. Commenter, well damn. Don't beat yourself up, that's a huge plot twist. I hope y'all can figure out how to navigate the new family dynamic. Best of luck. Original poster replied, my husband woke up an hour ago, and we had a huge discussion. Like many of you guys stated, I was in the wrong by jumping to that conclusion instead of trusting my husband and talking to him immediately. I also should not have snooped. Although he felt hurt, my husband understood why I jumped to that conclusion and forgave me. He is still hurt I saw him in that lens, but is greatly understanding as to why I did. Afterward, he apologized for his lies and hiding away a daughter from me. He acknowledged I should have known about his daughter before we got married. However, he knew how important my wedding was and didn't want to place more stress. I don't blame him for not telling me before our wedding, because this isn't a deal breaker for me, I would understand, and doing it before our wedding would cause stress. I do, however, wish he told me sometime later, but I can forgive him for not because the situation is difficult. I will add a couple of concerns to this comment as well. I understand this post reads as fake and outlandish, but in all honesty, it did happen. I went toward this subreddit because I listened to this podcast off of TikTok and am otherwise unfamiliar toward other subreddits. I went straight here instead of friends or family because I did not know how to tell people that my husband was involved with something concerning. I also came here because I was trapped in a car for 8 hours and didn't know how to let my mind race without creating a potentially hostile environment in the car. Additionally, I have an English minor, so perhaps that's why my posts feel structured, although I feel as if my writing is everywhere, lol. As for the 6-minute stare comments, I genuinely don't know how long it was, but it felt forever. I get the concerns of it being fake, and it is valid for everyone to feel that way. However, I don't appreciate the hundreds of comments posting the same thing and analyzing my every detail. It's at the point where there are more comments about this being fake than actual commentary, which is okay because I think I have all the advice I need, and again, thank you to everyone. If anyone else has questions, drop them below. Somebody said, that's because everyone got their pitchforks out and then didn't need them after all. If there's one thing Reddit detectives hate more than being wrong, it's having nothing to do. So when they found out they were wrong, they just started digging again because surely can't be wrong twice. Just remember the majority of them come to their conclusions by making the most dramatic assumption and then looking for anything that might back it up, not critical thinking and logic evaluation, so it's useless to try and prove otherwise, since technically anything is possible, and that's all they need to feel confident they are right. Edit. To answer some common questions or concerns, to the people who think my husband sucks for not telling me earlier, he acknowledged that it was wrong, and through his apology, I understand why he did it. I am slightly hurt. However, if I put myself in his shoes, revealing a secret daughter would be hard and difficult. I don't take it as he doesn't trust me. It's more of a delicate situation to bring up. To the people who think I suck for invading my husband's privacy and making rash assumptions. Yes, that was horrible of me, and I take full accountability. My husband understands my point of view and doesn't blame me for rushing to conclusions. Although he is hurt, I could imagine him as that sort of person. Long story short, we both empathize with each other's actions. Yes, we both are hurt, but understand why the course of events played out this way. Thank you to all the comments, and I don't know what kind of proof I can give LOL. But one thing I can assure you is that I did not steal this off some TikTok, and I would like if anyone had the TikTok, I stole it from LMIO.
Every year, our family does a big Thanksgiving dinner, and we all typically bring a dish or two. My sister, who's a lovely person in every other way, insists on cooking something homemade every time. The issue? She's not a great cook. And I don't mean just not great. I mean she has somehow managed to turn classic dishes into borderline inedible creations. For context, last Thanksgiving, she showed up with her special recipe, stuffing that was over-seasoned with random spices like cinnamon and cardamom. It was dry, and the flavors were confusing and totally off for stuffing. Only one person took a small bite, and the rest went untouched. Another year, she brought a green bean casserole that had some kind of strange chewy texture. She later admitted she used coconut milk and almond flour to experiment. No one wanted seconds of that, either. This year, I'm hosting Thanksgiving. Since I'm responsible for putting it all together, I wanted to keep the menu consistent so that people could actually enjoy a cohesive meal. I thought I'd avoid drama by asking her to bring non-food items instead, like wine, soda, or even some flowers. I explained to her, very kindly I thought, that I just wanted to make things easy and streamlined, and I'd handle the main dishes. But she didn't take it well. She got offended and told me I was being controlling and shutting her out of the family gathering. She then accused me of making her feel inadequate and said that Thanksgiving is about everyone contributing, not me deciding what's acceptable. I told her that everyone appreciates her effort, but that she could contribute in other ways and still be part of it. She doubled down and said she's bringing her famous green bean casserole, whether I like it or not. Now, my mom and a couple of other family members have chimed in, saying I should just let her bring whatever she wants because it's Thanksgiving and it's the thought that counts. They're acting like I'm committing some huge offense by wanting the food to be enjoyable for everyone and not have random experimental dishes that no one will eat. But I feel like I'm just trying to keep the meal enjoyable and, frankly, edible. I don't think it's wrong to want guests to actually enjoy the food, especially since I'm putting in a lot of effort to host. Am I really being unreasonable here? Am I the a-hole? Some relevant comments. It's one dish that everybody knows is bad and won't eat. Why is it a big deal, poster? I get where you're coming from, but it's not just one dish. It's every year, and every year she brings multiple dishes with strange combinations that no one eats. And it ends up feeling awkward because she keeps pushing people to try her food, and you're stuck pretending it's not that bad or trying to avoid it altogether. It also feels like a waste of time, effort, and money, especially since it's supposed to be a big family meal where we enjoy the food together. I just want people to actually look forward to the meal, not feel obligated to pretend they're enjoying her experiments. I didn't think it'd be a big deal to ask her to bring something else. It's not like I'm uninviting her. But maybe I could have handled it differently. Comment 2. I'm just super curious what other things she's made. If you're willing to expand on a few more, I want to know how bad we're talking here. Poster. Oh, buckle up, because there's a list. Here are some highlights from past family gatherings. Thanksgiving 2019. She made a spicy cranberry sauce that had whole chunks of jalapeno in it. She insisted it was elevating the flavor profile, but it ended up making people's mouths burn while eating turkey. We tried to pair it with other stuff on the plate, but it was a no-go. Christmas 2020. She brought a fusion mac and cheese with wasabi and horseradish mixed in. Let's just say it was a very unexpected flavor to experience in a traditionally creamy, comforting dish. There were some coughs and watery eyes at the table that night. Easter 2021. She made a carrot salad that had shredded carrots, raisins, and sardines. She claimed it was based on some Mediterranean recipe, but I'm pretty sure no Mediterranean grandma would approve. Last Thanksgiving, this was the infamous cinnamon cardamom stuffing. She wanted it to be warm and aromatic, but it ended up tasting like a holiday candle. The texture was also super dry, and even though she noticed no one was touching it, she blamed it on us not appreciating new flavors. Family barbecue this past summer. She did a barbecue tofu thing that had an odd vinegar peanut butter sauce. I don't know what cuisine inspired that, but it didn't belong anywhere near a grill. People tried to be polite, but most of it ended up going home with her. So, yeah, this isn't just me being picky. She's made some real adventures out of classic dishes, and I'm genuinely nervous about what she's planning with this whole Thanksgiving trio experience. Comment 3. Let her bring it. Maybe she's been practicing and it's good. If not, maybe she'll get the hint. Poster. I see what you're saying, but honestly, she's been practicing for years and it hasn't improved. If anything, she's getting more experimental and doubling down on weird flavors and substitutions. And I don't think she'll take the hint. She's pretty proud of her cooking and genuinely seems to think we're just not appreciating her creativity. If I thought it would lead to her realizing it's not working, I'd let it go. But instead, she just gets upset if people don't eat it, and it becomes this whole thing. I'm just trying to keep things simple and enjoyable for everyone without the awkwardness. Maybe there's a middle ground I'm missing? Comment 4. Just let her bring what she wants. It's not hurting you. You don't have to eat it. It might even be fun to pretend it's the best thing ever and throw some away when she isn't looking, to make her feel good. It could be part of the traditional holiday experience. Poster. I get that, and maybe I am overthinking it. It just feels like a small battle I'd rather not have every year, especially when I'm hosting and trying to make sure everyone genuinely enjoys the meal. I mean, I can definitely go with the smile and nod approach for the sake of family peace, but it does feel a little exhausting to pretend every time. I guess I just don't want to encourage her thinking that everyone actually loves it, especially when it's clearly not working. But you're right, it's just food, and maybe I should focus more on making her feel included than on the menu being perfect. I'll try to keep this in mind and relax about it. Updated the next day. Alright, well, things have escalated fast. Thanks to everyone who offered advice. I tried to compromise, but it's already turning into a whole thing, and Thanksgiving is still a few weeks away. After our last conversation, my sister was being pretty cagey about what she planned to make, so I reached out to my mom, hoping she could help smooth things over. Instead, she got defensive, saying I'm overthinking and that it's just one dish. I told her I wasn't sure it was just one dish anymore, especially after hearing about my sister's grocery haul, including canned oysters and edible glitter tarp. Then my mom let slip that my sister has been hard at work on some creative menu she's planning as her Thanksgiving surprise. Apparently, she's been telling the family group chat, which I wasn't included in, by the way, that I'm being controlling and that she wants to expand everyone's palate with something truly unique. To top it off, my cousin sent me a screenshot from the group chat where my sister said she's bringing not one, but 3 dishes to Thanksgiving now. She's calling them her Thanksgiving trio experience, complete with their own place settings and little menu cards she's designing. I'm officially panicking because I have no idea what she's planning to serve. And from what I've heard, it's not remotely traditional. At this point, half the family thinks I'm overreacting, while the other half is texting me with things like, "Is she really bringing glittered sweet potatoes?" I feel stuck. If I try to control it anymore, I'm the bad guy. But if I don't, Thanksgiving might turn into a tasting event for my sister's avant-garde cooking. So yeah, Thanksgiving is weeks away, and it's already become a family spectacle. I don't know whether to brace myself or just preemptively order pizza. Here are some relevant comments. Original poster when told to let the sister take charge for the meal. Haha, I have to admit, that idea is very tempting. Letting her take the spotlight with her Thanksgiving trio experience, while I sit back and sip on a glass of wine, sounds like one way to make a memorable holiday, especially if everyone gets to see exactly what I was trying to save them from. It would be kind of poetic to just lean into the chaos and let her creations be the star of the show, for better or worse. I have a feeling it would definitely be a Thanksgiving to remember, even if I'd have to brace myself for the family reactions. It's like a mix of malicious compliance and hands-off hosting, and I kind of love the idea of just throwing in some edible arrangements, a ton of drinks, and calling it a day. And yeah, if it all goes sideways, I'll have plenty of remember that one Thanksgiving stories to pull out in the future. Thanks for the laugh and the wild suggestion. This might just be a holiday fantasy, but it's definitely a fun one to think about. Comment 1. Honestly, I think you should just let her do this. It can be a new family tradition. Your sister brings something weird and inedible. You all ignore it and poke fun at her terrible cooking later. Is this really something you want to create drama over? Poster? You're right. Maybe I've been looking at this all wrong. Letting her bring her unique dishes could actually become a funny little tradition if we let it. I mean, every family has its quirks, and maybe this is just one of ours. Instead of stressing about it, I could just embrace it and let her dishes be part of the Thanksgiving lore that we joke about later. It's definitely not worth creating unnecessary drama over, and if we all just go with it, I bet it'll be less awkward and maybe even entertaining in its own way. Thanks for the reminder to just roll with it and not take it so seriously. Comment 2. Ooh, please update us after Thanksgiving. I can't wait to hear about her culinary experiments. Poster. Haha, don't worry, I'll definitely keep you all posted. I'm honestly half curious and half terrified to see what she ends up bringing. If past holidays are any indicator, we might be in for some very creative dishes, and I have a feeling the family reactions alone could make for quite the story. So, stay tuned. If anything wild goes down, I'll be back with all the juicy details after Thanksgiving. Fingers crossed for a low-drama meal, but let's be real, I'm probably not that lucky. New update. All right, so Thanksgiving is now just a little over 2 weeks away, and somehow things have escalated even further than I thought possible. I thought maybe my sister's Thanksgiving trio experience would be the peak of the drama. Well, turns out I was wrong. Since the last update, my sister has become fully committed to making her dishes the main attraction. She's been dropping hints in the family group chat, which I'm still not included in. But shout out to my cousin for the screenshots about how this Thanksgiving will be one to remember and calling it her Thanksgiving debut. She's apparently been referring to herself as the Thanksgiving head chef and has hinted that she's bringing some kind of culinary surprise centerpiece that will transform the whole experience. From what I can piece together, she's planning a main statement dish in addition to her original 3 side dishes. I'm picturing something equally bizarre, but on a much larger scale, and honestly, I'm terrified. If her green bean casserole was already pushing it, I can't even imagine what she thinks is worthy of being the centerpiece. Then, to make things even weirder, my mom texted me privately and suggested that I step back this year and let my sister shine since she's so excited about her contributions. My mom thinks if we just give her this moment, it'll make her happy and she'll get it out of her system. She even hinted that maybe I should focus on decorations and drinks instead of the main dishes, which feels like an attempt to turn hosting over to my sister without actually saying it. So now I'm left with a choice. go along with my mom's plan and let my sister essentially hijack Thanksgiving, or keep pushing back and risk a family showdown. I just wanted a nice Thanksgiving with dishes everyone would enjoy, but it seems like I'm either about to hand over the whole meal to her or prepare for some serious drama. Thanksgiving isn't even here yet, and it already feels like a circus. I'm half tempted to just sit back and see what chaos unfolds, but part of me is still worried about subjecting the whole family to whatever artistic statement she has planned. Some relevant comments. I cannot figure out why you still haven't canceled hosting. If she wants to take over, let her do so in her own space. Why would you go through all those trouble to host your family when your sister is actively planning sabotage? I would have already bowed out. The poster replies, honestly, I'm starting to feel the same way. At first, I thought I could manage the situation by setting boundaries, but it's pretty clear my sister is determined to turn Thanksgiving into her personal stage, no matter what I do. At this point, it's not even about the food, it's about the sheer amount of effort I'm putting in just to have it overshadowed by her artistic vision. Bowing out does sound tempting, and I'm seriously considering it. Letting her host would give her the spotlight she clearly wants, and I wouldn't have to deal with the stress of trying to balance everyone's feelings. I guess I've just been holding out because I love hosting and didn't want to let her take that away from me. But maybe it's time to throw in the towel and let her take the reins in her own house. You're definitely giving me something to think about. Thanks. Just let her do it and don't cook a damn thing. Oh, and eat before anyone shows up. The poster replies, haha, that would be one way to handle it, right? Just let her have her Thanksgiving head chef moment and show up with a full stomach, no stress, and zero cooking on my part. I'm honestly so tempted to go this route. If she wants the spotlight that badly, I might as well let her handle everything and watch the chaos unfold from the sidelines. It might even be kind of satisfying to see her realize how much goes into hosting, especially if her creations don't quite go over as she hopes. Thanks for the idea. This might just be the perfect hands-off Thanksgiving.